Your favorite radio station presents a holiday classic.
Attaboy, Clarence.
The 23rd anniversary edition of Christmas on the Radio.
God bless us, everyone.
Now the 2022 edition of Christmas on the Radio with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Sometimes I'll get criticized over the fact that I run Amos-n-Andy here on Christmas on the Radio, but I think it's a very delightful show. Take race out of it. Listen to it for the humor. Think of it as a couple of poor white guys, if you have to, from the South. But I will tell you what, they don't get much better than this. Freeman Gosden and Charles Correll, in an episode of Amos-n-Andy, we're going back 71 years to December 23rd, 1951.
It's the Amos-n-Andy Christmas Show, brought to you by the 10,000 independent Rexall druggists. With Christmas just 2 days off, the Rexall Drug Company and the 10,000 independent Rexall druggists bring you the Amos-n-Andy Christmas Show. And now here they are transcribed with their Christmas cast, Jeff Alexander's orchestra and chorus, and radio's all-time favorites, Freeman Gosden and Charles Correll. Amos-n-Andy! Well, this is Sunday. Let's go back to yesterday morning. Andy is out with Amos's little girl, Arbadella, on their annual tour of the store windows.
Well, let's look in this window, Uncle Andy.
Yeah, they sure got a lot of toys in there, ain't they?
I've never seen so many toys. It's just like something you dream about.
Yeah. Hey, there's something cute there. There's a paint set. Look what it says there. Junior paint set, $12.95, complete with easel.
What's an easel, Uncle Andy?
Easel? It's one of them things, well, all artists has got them. They can't do without them.
What do they use them for?
Well, they wears them on the head. Got a little tassel on them and it keeps the head warm while they're painting. That's what it is.
Oh, Uncle Andy, you know everything, don't you?
Well, most everything. A couple of things might have slipped by me. I don't know.
Oh, look, that's cute. What does that say?
That's a baby doll set, complete with preambulator.
What's a preambulator, Uncle Andy?
Well, it's just like one of them measles, but it ain't got no tassel on it.
Oh, look, Uncle Andy. Here's what I've been waiting to see. See it there? The one in the corner. That big doll there.
Yeah, that sure is a pretty doll, Arbadella.
Yes, that's a talking doll. That's the one I wrote and asked Santa Claus to bring me. But Daddy said I wrote the letter too late. You see, I only wrote it 2 days ago.
Yeah, well, maybe your papa ain't got the money. That ain't giving Santa Claus much time. You gotta write him before that.
Oh, isn't she pretty, though, Uncle Andy? Daddy said Santa Claus would bring her to me next Christmas.
Oh, sure. You see, that'll give him more time.
We're having a good time today, ain't we, Uncle Andy? I like being out with you.
Yes, and I like being out with you, too, Arbadella. But there ain't no sense us standing outside this window eyeballing that doll all day. I guess we gotta get on home now.
Oh, Uncle Andy, couldn't I just look at the talking doll once more?
Oh, sure, Arbadella. Go ahead.
That sure is a pretty dress she's got on.
Yeah.
But when Santa Claus brings her to me next year, I'm going to make her a lot more pretty dresses, pink ones. I can hardly wait till next Christmas. It's only a year.
Oh, come in, Kingfish.
Well, Brother Andy, Merry Christmas. Greetings of the season. Say, what you doing stretched out in bed there?
Oh, I'm just laying down for a minute. I got a little woozy while I was out Christmas shopping with Arbadella.
Yeah, well, you don't look too good around the gills.
No.
Yeah, you look a little like a flounder that's just been gaffed. Yeah, I guess a little strenuous out Christmas shopping for all your dear friends, and you want to remember especially this time of the year.
Yeah, well, I don't know what's wrong with me. I done took my temperature a few minutes ago, and the thermostat went up to 101.
101. That ain't good, Andy.
Well, did that mean I was sick?
Well, Andy, I don't want to alarm you or nothing, but I had a cat once that had a temperature of 101. The next thing I knew, she started foaming at the mouth. Then she dove through the dining room window, landed on the street, and climbed 40 feet up a 20-foot tree. And a half hour later, she had a litter of kittens, too.
Yeah, well, I don't think that I was that sick.
Well, Andy, like I said, you probably wore yourself out with too much Christmas shopping. So I'm going to do you a big favor, boy.
Yeah?
Instead of having you come all the way up to my house with that big present that I know you done bought for me, I'll just take the thing with me now, save you the trip. See, Andy, I'm always thinking of you. What kind of a pal would I be to let a sick man lug a great big box up to my house on Christmas Eve? Yeah, you got to think of your friends on Christmas. It's the spirit of good cheer, peace on earth, and mistletoe and all that.
Kingfish.
Yeah, this season, I kind of choke up, Andy. I is filled with the spirit of friendship and brotherly love.
Kingfish.
Oh, what is it, Andy, old pal?
I ain't got no present for you.
How would you like to have a punch in the mouth?
Listen, Kingfish, don't you say nothing to me. I give you that pen and pencil set last year, and you didn't give me nothing.
Yeah, well, then I can explain that to you. Now, wait a minute. I'll tell you what I've done now. I done bought you a box of fine cigars. Yeah. You know, Coronas. And I wanted them to be perfect for you. Yeah. And I thought I'd puff on one to see how they was. And the first one seemed to be a little too dry. So wherever I finished that one, I decided to puff on another one, and that one was too moist, you see. So I thought I'd try another one. Well, anyway, between the puffing and the drying and the moistening, well, the next thing I know, your Christmas went up in smoke, Andy.
Well, Kingfish, you see, it was all I could do to manage to scrape up something for Amos and his kids. I was too broke to get you anything this Christmas, Kingfish.
Yeah, well, Andy, I was just thinking now, if you want to go down to the friendly loan company on the corner, why, they'd be glad to let you have it.
Wait a minute. Come in. Oh, hi, Lightning, hi.
Good morning, Brother Andy. How's you, Brother Kingfish?
Well, Lightning, glad you dropped by. I was just thinking about you. You know, you got to think of your friends at Christmas time. It's the spirit of good cheer, peace on earth. And this time of the year when the spirit of friendship and brotherly love spreads throughout the world.
Kingfish, if you don't get out of here, I'm going to punch you right in the nose. You hear that?
All right. There certainly is a fine attitude to take at Christmas time. Goodbye to both of you bums.
Well, Lightning, I see you done wrapped up them presents for me like I asked you to.
Oh, yeah, sir. I done wrapped each one of them separate.
Yeah, well, that's good. But wait a minute here. How am I going to know which one is the crayons?
Well, that's simple, Miss Andy. You see, on the crayons there, I put a K.
Wait a minute. Lightning, don't you know that crayon starts with a C?
You do?
Certainly. C-R-O-U-T-O-N-S, crayon.
Well, you ain't giving away many presents this year, is you, Miss Andy?
No, I got a little something for Amos and Ruby. These toy soldiers I got for Amos Jr. is all right, but I don't know if Arbedella's going to like these crayons or not.
Oh, sure she'll like them. And anyway, what do you know what you like and what you don't like, Miss Andy?
Well, there's the trouble, Lightning. I do know what she likes.
Well, it don't make no difference. You flat busted anyway.
Yeah, and that's what's troubling me. I was broke and... Say, Lightning, what time is it?
It's about 1 o'clock, Miss Andy.
1 o'clock? I'm just getting an idea here, Lightning. Let me get up here. I think I'm going to take a walk down to that department store on the corner.
Come in. Did you want to see me?
I guess so. Is you the gentleman to do the hiring for the department store?
That's right. My name is Simmons.
Yeah, well, I was wondering if you needed any extra sales help for this last-minute rush this afternoon. I would work hard.
Well, we did need extra help up until this morning. But I think we can get through the rest of the day with the salespeople we have.
Oh. Well, thank you just the same, mister.
Say, wait just a minute.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Maybe you can help us.
What's that?
Well, one of our Santa Claus helpers was called home. His wife was taken ill suddenly, and, well, we could use somebody to take his place. Do you think you could do it?
Be Santa Claus's helper?
That's right.
Well, I ain't never done it before, and I don't, Sure, I can do it.
Fine. You go down and see Mr. Walker on the 4th floor. He'll give you your Santa Claus suit and whiskers. Then come back here, and I'll tell you just what you're supposed to do.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Brown, you look very well in that outfit.
Yes, sir.
I see you've got that pillow in there just right.
That ain't no pillow, that's me.
Well, I think you're going to make a fine Santa Claus, Mr. Brown. Now, you just put on these whiskers and hat, and you're all set.
Yes, sir. Now, what must I do, Mr. Simmons?
Well, you can get into the toy department right through the back door of my office here. The Santa Claus chair is right there.
Yes, sir. And I just sits there and talks to the children, huh?
That's right. You just have the children come up one at a time, and if you run into any difficulties of any kind, just call the floor walker.
Yes, sir. If I have any trouble, I'll call the floor walker.
Good luck, Santa. Right through that door there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, there's the Santa Claus chair. A lot of children waiting already, too. They done spotted me. Hey, quiet, kids. Quiet. Wait a minute. I better sit down here and get started. All right, Sonny. Ha. You is first. Come right up here and sit on Santa Claus's lap. Ha. That's the boy. Now, tell Santa Claus, what did you want for Christmas?
I want a Hop-Along Cassidy hat, a Hop-Along Cassidy shirt, Hop-Along Cassidy spurs, Hop-Along Cassidy belt, a Hop-Along Cassidy gun, Hop-Along Cassidy boots, and a Hop-Along Cassidy toothbrush.
Well, and tell me something, little fella. Just who is your favorite cowboy star?
Roy Rogers.
Hey, you is a nice little boy, you know it. What is your name?
Sammy Jackson.
Well, tell me something, Sammy. Has you been a good boy?
Yes.
I ought to know that without asking. You look like a smart little fella. I bet you was smart in school.
No, I ain't.
You ain't smart in school?
No, I ain't.
I bet you try hard, though, don't you?
No, I don't.
Well, you gonna try hard after you go back after the vacation, though, ain't you?
No, I ain't. I ain't never gonna try hard because I hate school. And there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Oh, floor walker! Can you come over here, floor walker?
If I gets everything I ask for, I'll try hard.
Never mind, floor walker. That's a good little boy, Sammy. You just hang up your stocking and everything gonna be all right.
Okay, thank you, Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Am I next?
Yeah, you was next. My. Say, you was a sweet little girl. Now, what can Santa do for a pretty little girl like you?
Mommy said when I came up here, I could sit on your lap.
Oh, sure, yeah. Let me lift you up here. There you is. You was light as a feather. What's your name, honey?
Patricia Washington.
That's a pretty name, too. And that's a pretty little coat you got on there.
My mother made it for me. She made my hat, too.
Well, Patricia, I suppose you come up to tell me what you want for Christmas.
No, Santa. I wrote you a letter about that. I just came up to visit with you.
Oh, well, that was nice of you, yeah.
I guess when you've been out delivering presents all Christmas Eve, when you get home, you must be awfully tired, Santa Claus.
Yeah, I guess I is pretty tired of that, yeah.
And I'll bet your little girl comes up to you and throws her arms around you like I do when my daddy comes home tired.
Well, no, honey, my little girl don't do that, 'cause, you see, I don't have no little girl. I live by myself.
All by yourself?
All by myself.
Then, just for today, I'll be your little girl. Here.
Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you very much.
Why, Santa Claus, didn't you like it having a little girl hug and kiss you? I noticed there's a tear running down your cheek.
Oh, no, honey. I like that more than I could ever tell you. But don't you pay no attention to that tear. It's just that at Christmas time, your eye is liable to do funny things to you. And I'll tell you something else, too. Santa is really going to come to your house this year.
Thank you.
All right, who's next?
I'm next.
Come right up, Sonny. What's your name?
Jonathan Waldorf Curtis Higgins, the third.
Yeah, well, I'll just call you Johnny. Now, what do you want for Christmas, Johnny?
Wait a minute. Before I tell you, are you the real Santa Claus?
Well, I am Santa Claus's helper.
Well, guess that's okay. But I don't like doing business with no middleman.
You know, talking to me is just like talking to Santa yourself. I got the sleigh and the reindeers and everything.
Oh, yeah? Well, all right, then. Just what are the reindeers' names?
You want to know the reindeers' names?
Well, if you're Santa Claus helper, you ought to know the names.
Yeah, well, there's Donner, Blitzen, Thunder, Prancer, and, Stinkin', Blinkin', and Nod. Now, what you want for Christmas, Johnny?
I want an electric train, I want a bicycle, and I want a model airplane with a real gasoline engine.
Yeah, well, that's all pretty expensive stuff, but I don't know if you're going to get all of that.
Oh, you don't, huh?
No.
Say, lean over here a minute.
Yes, sir. I mean, what you want?
Now listen, bud. Do I get that stuff, or do I have to punch you in the nose in front of all these kids?
Oh, floor walker! Well, Sonny...
You see this fist?
Never mind, floor walker. Okay, you'll get the stuff.
I'd better.
Yeah, all right. Who's next?
I am Santa Claus.
Oh, step right up, Sonny.
Yes, sir.
And what's your name?
William Smith.
Yeah, well, William, I suppose a big fella like you want a cowboy suit for Christmas, too, huh?
Nope.
Electric trains?
Nope.
Bicycle?
Nope.
Pair of boxing gloves?
Nope.
Well, tell me, William, what would you like?
A baby sister.
You want a baby sister?
Yes, how can I get one?
Oh, floor walker.
Well, you look a little worn out, Mr. Brown.
Oh, yeah, I was a little tired. I never talked to so many kids in all my life. Gee, they is cute, though.
You did very well. All the children seemed very happy, and the parents were just standing there beaming.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, sir.
We certainly appreciated having you here this afternoon.
Yes, sir. Well, I enjoyed it, too. And, of course, like I told you when I made the deal with you, I done it for a special reason.
Yes. And here it is, Mr. Brown. I had the stock boy take it out of the window. The talking doll.
December 23rd, 1951, Freeman Gosden and Charles Correll, Amos-n-Andy. I'm Wyatt Cox. This is Christmas on the Radio. Back in just about 60 seconds. Brought to you in part by MediShare.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for healthcare. And here's why. Not only is it open enrollment for a lot of people, it's also a time you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. And it's true, the typical family switching to MediShare saves $500 or more a month, which is obviously huge for a lot of people. But what's more, they like it. MediShare has double the customer satisfaction rate compared to health insurance. Double. There are 400,000 members. They've shared over $4 billion in medical bills, and it really is a great community, too. People encourage and pray for each other. And here's the thing. If you join MediShare Complete right now, they'll waive your new member fees, and you'll save an additional 10% off all of 2023. That's right. No fee to join, 10% off every month of next year, but it's a very limited time offer. You have to sign up before December 31st. Great savings, great health care. Find out more. Call now. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
You're listening to Christmas on the Radio. Now more of Amos and Andy and their Christmas show from December 23rd, 1951, 71 years ago.
Well, that brings us up to this evening, which is Christmas Eve. Andy, with his arms full of presents, has come up to Amos's apartment.
Well, come in, Andy. Merry Christmas, boy.
Say, Amos, is the kids around?
Oh, no, they is all in bed. Arbedella's the last one. She just went to bed a few minutes ago.
Yeah, well, I didn't want none of the kids to see me come in with these packages. Let me put them down here under the tree.
Oh, gee, you got a lot of stuff there, Andy. Look like you didn't forget nobody.
Yeah. Where's Ruby?
Well, she and her mama went to church for Christmas Eve services, and I kind of babysitting with the children tonight.
Well, I got a present here for you, Amos.
Oh, thank you, Andy.
And here's something for your wife, Ruby, and here's something for her mama. And I got a box of them toy soldiers here for Junior.
Oh, that's wonderful. What you got in that big box there, Andy?
Oh, that? Well, that's a special gift, Amos. That's for Arbedella.
Arbedella?
Yeah, I didn't put no card on it, so just tell her that this is from Santa Claus.
Oh, well, Andy, you sure is wonderful to the kids, not only on Christmas, but all the time, boy.
Well, you know, Amos, I ain't never had none of my own, so I guess the next best thing is kind of being Uncle Andy to all of yours.
Yeah, where you headed for now, Andy?
Well, I'm going to spend Christmas Eve with the Kingfish. We're putting on a little dinner party. We done bought a 12-pound turkey.
Oh, that's nice. How many is you going to be?
Just me and him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Amos, I'll be running along and wish everybody a Merry Christmas for me.
Well, Merry Christmas to you, too, Andy. I'm going back with Arbedella now and see if she's asleep. You know how kids is on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, well, so long, Amos.
Thanks again, Andy, and see you tomorrow. Merry Christmas. Bring forth the royal diadem and crown him, Lord. Well, Arbedella, look at you. I thought you'd be sound asleep by now, and there you is sitting up in bed.
Oh, Daddy, I'm so excited. I don't think I can sleep tonight.
Yeah, well, honey, everybody's got to sleep tonight. Just because Santa's coming in the morning, why, you can't stay awake all night. He won't come if people stay awake.
How long before he'll be here, Daddy?
Well, I tell you, you put your head down on the pillow and go to sleep. Now, if you're asleep, it'll only seem like 1 minute before Santa will be here.
Oh, all right, Daddy. I'll try. I certainly am excited, though, Daddy.
Well, I guess all little kids is excited tonight.
Daddy, can I turn on the little radio before I go to sleep?
Well, just for a minute or two. I'll snap it on for you. There he is. Now let it warm up for a few seconds. We don't want to wake up your little brother and amos-n-andy.
Oh, music never wakes them up, Daddy.
Well, let me straighten your covers out a little bit. Is you said your prayers?
Mommy heard my prayers before she went out, Daddy.
Take this bottom of the hour break to go get you some Kleenex. Because the way this comes out, you're going to be touched. 71 years ago, December 23rd, 1951, Amos and Andy. Thank you for tuning in to Christmas on the Radio.
Christmas on the Radio continues, now with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Now the conclusion of the Amos and Andy Christmas show from December 23rd, 1951.
The Christmas choir continues with the Lord's Prayer.
Well, now get under the covers, honey.
Daddy, could you get some Christmas music on the radio?
Why, darling, this is the very best Christmas music you could get. There's going to sing the Lord's Prayer.
Oh, I've been saying the Lord's Prayer with Mommy. She's been teaching it to me.
Yes, I know she is.
What does the Lord's Prayer mean, Daddy?
Well, it means an awful lot. And with the world like it is today, it seems to have a bigger meaning than ever before.
But what does the Lord's Prayer really mean, Daddy?
The Lord's Prayer, well, darling, I'll explain it to you.
Oh, will you, Daddy?
Yeah, now you lay down and you listen.
All right.
Now, the first line, of the Lord's Prayer is this: Our Father, which art in heaven. Now that means Father of all that is good, where no wrong can ever dwell. And then it says, hallowed be thy name. Now that means, darling, that we should love and respect all that is good. And then it says after that, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Now that means, darling, as we clean our hearts of all hate and selfishness and fill our hearts with the love, the good, the true, and the beautiful, then earth, where we are now, will be just like heaven.
That would be wonderful, Daddy.
Then it says, give us this day our daily bread. Now that means to feed our hearts and minds with kindness, with love, and with courage, which will make us strong for our daily tasks. And then after that, the next line of the Lord's Prayer is, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Do you remember the golden rule?
Yes, Daddy.
Well, that means that we must keep the golden rule and do unto others as we would want them to do unto us. And then it says, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Now that means, my darling, to ask God to help us do and to see and to think right, so that we will neither be led or tempted by anything that is bad. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Now that means, darling, that all the world and everything in it belongs to God's kingdom, everything. Your mommy, your daddy, your little brother, your sister, your grandma, you and everybody. And as we know that and act as if we know it, that, my darling daughter, is the real spirit of Christmas.
That's good, Daddy.
Well, now I guess I ought to cut off the radio and let you go to sleep.
Good night, Daddy.
Good night, sweetheart.
Daddy, will you leave the little radio on while I go to sleep?
All right, I'll leave it on, and you can listen to some Christmas music.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin, mother and child. Holy,
what you gonna name that pretty little baby? Oh, Mary, what you gonna name that pretty little baby?
glory, glory, glory to that newborn King.
Some called him one thing, I think I'll say Emmanuel.
Glory, glory, glory to that newborn King.
taking him on their shoulders and making him their governor.
She's asleep. Merry Christmas, my darling.
This is Freeman Gosden, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight I have been chosen to do a job I'm certainly going to enjoy. Everyone connected with our show, the sponsor, my partner Charles Carell, all the wonderful members of our company, Jeff Alexander and his boys in the orchestra, our writers, your Rexall family druggist, your announcer Harlow Wilcox, yes, everybody has asked me to wish you, in their name, the merriest Christmas ever. So, for the 10,000 independent Rexall druggists, the Rexall Drug Company, and all of us here behind the mic, here's wishing you the best Christmas you've ever known. God bless you all.
The Amos-n-Andy Show is transcribed over the CBS Radio Network.
I don't care how many times you listen to that show, it never gets old, and it always hits your heart. December 23rd, 1951, 71 years ago, Amos-n-Andy. You're listening to Christmas on the Radio with Wyatt Cox, and we'll continue in just about a minute.
And here's the Cinnamon Bear.
The oldest known children's Christmas serial in radio history, The Cinnamon Bear, featuring some of the most popular actors in radio history, including Elliott Lewis, Joseph Kearns, Verna Felton, Lou Merrill, Frank Nelson, Howard McNear, and child actress Barbara Jean Wong. 85 years later, this series of Judy and Jimmy traveling to Maybeland to recover their silver stars still fascinates youngsters of all ages. Now we're offering the entire 26-episode series of The Cinnamon Bear via download for a Buy Me a Coffee donation of $10 or more at classicradio.stream. Support Classic Radio Theater and have The Cinnamon Bear for your family to enjoy for years to come. Go to classicradio.stream and donate $10 or more, and I'll send you a link for immediate download. classicradio.stream. Now on Christmas on the Radio, a sportscast. Well, not that kind of sportscast. For as Paul Harvey invented some very, very personalized news, it is said that Harvey took a lot of his style from this man, Bill Stern. The Bill Stern Sports Newsreel with his guest Ezra Stone, Henry Aldrich, from December 21st, 1945.
C-O-L-G-A-T-E, Colgate presents Bill Stern with the Colgate Shave Cream Sports Newsreel. Bill Stern, the Colgate Shave Cream Man, is on the air. Bill Stern, the Colgate Shave Cream Man, with stories rare. Take his advice and you'll look keen. You'll get a shave that's smooth and clean. You'll be a Colgate brushless fan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bill Stern, bringing you the 320th edition of the Colgate Shave Cream Sports Newsreel. Our guest tonight is the famous radio star Ezra Stone, the original Henry Aldrich. But first, Reel 1, a Christmas greeting. In 4 days, it'll be Christmas. That's why tonight's show is entirely made up of Christmas stories. And our first story tonight is the story of a poor, broken-down, punch-drunk fighter. Yet it's a Christmas story. A story that's become an annual institution on this program at Christmas time. Did you ever hear of a fighter named Swifty Edwards? Chances are you don't remember. Swifty Edwards was once a good fighter. But Swifty never got very far. He was just a boy who could take it on the chin. By 1926, Swifty Edwards was all washed up. He'd been knocked from pillar to post. He was just a human punching bag. No fight promoter wanted any part of him. But if Swifty was a poor fighter, at least he was honest. He never took a crooked fight, and he always tried his best. One thing made Swifty stand out from the hundreds of other has-been fighters. Swifty had a beautiful wife. He was very proud of his wife. Their love and devotion was honest and sincere. Several days before Christmas, in 1926, Swifty went from one fight promoter to another, trying to get a fight. Everybody gave him the same answer. No dice, Swifty. You're all through, kid. Why don't you wise up? Swifty was desperate. He had to get a fight somehow. He had no money, and Christmas was coming. And each Christmas, Swifty'd always given his wife a new dress. Well, there'd be no new dress this Christmas if Swifty didn't get a fight soon. Finally, Swifty reached the end of his rope. He went to a shady fight promoter. Swifty asked that shady fight promoter for a fight.
Sure, I got a fight for you. But of course, you got to do me a little favor. You see, I got a new fighter on the way up. You could beat him on the level, except this fight ain't going to be on the level. Get it, Swifty?
Why, you rat. I never saw a fight in my life.
Okay. Don't get tough with me. There's $20 in it for you, and no one will ever know.
Swifty took that fight. All his life he'd fought clean, but now nobody give him a break. Yeah? Swifty had agreed to throw a fight. He was ashamed to tell his wife. Instead, he tried to act enthusiastic. Gee, honey, I got a fight. Boy, will I murder that guy. He's a cinch for me. Look, I got the money in advance. $30. Here it is. Here, honey. Here's your Christmas present. Get yourself that new dress. Don't worry about me. I'll win easily. Swifty was happy. At least his wife would never know how he'd gotten that money. Christmas Eve came. Swifty climbed through the ropes to fight his first crooked fight. In the first minute, he realized that if he wanted to, he could win. But he'd made a bargain, and so in the second round, he went down and he was counted out. Quickly, he dressed and left that fighter in. It was Christmas Eve. His wife would be waiting for him. At least he hadn't let her down. But as he entered his shabby room, his wife met him at the door. Her face was twisted with grief. Swifty, what happened? You told me you were going to win. You said you couldn't lose. You never told me that before. What happened tonight, Swifty? For a moment, he didn't answer, and then he spoke. Never mind, honey. It's Christmas. Come on, let's be happy. Can I see your new dress? His wife looked up as she said, I took that $30 you gave me, Swifty, but I didn't buy a new dress. I wanted to give you a Christmas present, too. You said you'd win, so I bet the $30 on you to win. And now we've got nothing. Yep. That's the story. And each year when it's close to Christmas like it is tonight, I always think of another Christmas. A poor punch-drunk fighter who tried so hard to say, Merry Christmas. Reel 2. Colgate's camera close-up of Henry Aldrich. Probably no youngster's voice is better known to America's radio audience than is his. A great star, a great director. Here he is in person, Henry Aldrich.
Coming, Mother. Good evening, Bill. Say, can I step out of character?
Why, certainly, Henry. But if you're going to step out of character, I guess I'd better introduce you by your real name. Ladies and gentlemen, a very fine actor who impersonates Henry Aldrich on the radio, Ezra Stone.
Thank you, Bill. But instead of being interviewed tonight, I'd like to tell a story.
Please do.
Well, my story begins back in 1912, when a certain American youngster was the best pistol shot in the United States. And because of this, he was selected to represent us in the Olympic Games that year in Europe. He was matched against the finest pistol shots from all over the world. The American boy came through the preliminaries with flying colors, until finally only he and a German marksman were left. Each took careful aim as they began their final round, and the American lad shot 10 straight bullseyes, a perfect score. But when the German judges counted his score, they claimed they could only find 9 bullseyes. In vain, the American lad argued. He knew the German judges were cheating in favor of one of their own countrymen, but there was nothing the American could do about it. That all took place back in 1912. when an American lad came back to this country hating the Germans because they had cheated him out of an Olympic medal. But somehow, I think that American got his revenge. For it was he who led the American armies into Germany in this war. Today, he died. But even though he's gone, he will be never forgotten. For his name was General George S. Patton.
You're so right. General Patton was a great athlete. Much more important, a great American. Thank you so much. Good luck and good night. Ezra Stone, better known as Henry Alden. Reel 4. Let's continue this parade of Christmas stories tonight and call this The Legend of a Christmas Tree. Remember when you were a youngster how all Christmas stories began with once upon a time and ended with and they lived happily ever after? This is a Christmas legend. It begins in Washington, D.C. It's the story of a man, a boy, and a dog. And like all Christmas legends, it begins once upon a time. Once upon a time, out of the land of the Philippines, came a little dusky brown-skinned fighter, Felix Destrito by name. And the tale he wove with his 2 fists made history. And soon, he married a gay, laughing, lovely girl. One day, a son was born to them, and Felix's joy was complete. Each night, Felix would come home, smile at the baby, pull up an easy chair, and read the paper. But each night, too, Felix would say, honey, turn the lights up brighter. Each night, it became more of a command. The light, bring it closer. But one night, not even moving the light right beside Felix could hide the truth. The cruel poundings of his many fights were taking their toll. Felix Destrito was slowly going blind. The years passed. Now, no longer the cheers of fight fans, just a loneliness born with unseeing eyes. Again, our scene is a Washington fight arena. The crowds are here, fighters in the ring, but standing unnoticed alone in a corner stands Felix Destrito selling peanuts. Alone? No, that's wrong. For at his feet are his eyes. That's right, eyes. For his eyes are Queenie, a seeing-eye dog. And each night, Felix and Queenie are a familiar sight in the corner of that fight club. But one night, Felix and Queenie failed to show up. Felix and his dog, Queenie, were home taking care of Felix's little son. Pneumonia had come. For days, Felix didn't leave the bedside as his son tossed about feverishly. For days, Queenie stood by her master, whimpering as she looked at the suffering boy. The doctor came, and Felix paid him half the meager family savings. More doctor bills, and soon there was no money left. No money for food, for medicine, for doctors. Felix sat there helplessly, and then a strange thing happened. Queenie came over silently, pressed her cold nose into his outstretched hands. The dog seemed to be trying to tell Felix something, and the man understood. Felix got up slowly, put on his ragged coat, and walked over to one of Washington's radio stations. He sought out a sports announcer. The sports announcer greeted him warmly. "Hello, Felix, glad to see you." But Felix only said, "Please, sir, could you announce on the radio that I'd like to sell Queenie? You see, I must have medicine for my son." The announcer nodded his heart. His heart was too sick to speak. That night, the miracle happened. From every newspaper, from every radio station in Washington, out went the appeal, not for someone to buy Queenie, but for money to help a fighter who was willing to give up his eyes that his son might live. And then came the response from the so-called hard-boiled fight fans, from the writers, from everyone, everywhere. The story created a sensation. Irving Berlin, the famous songwriter, heard about it, and since it was just before Christmas, it inspired him to write a special Christmas song. Thanks to that song, the money poured in. The boy was taken to a big hospital. Felix and Queenie stayed together. Today, Queenie waits patiently at his feet for the slightest twitch of her harness. That's the story. The story of a blind prize fighter who inspired a great song, for had it not been for Felix Destrito, the world might never have had the most famous Christmas song ever written, the unforgettable White Christmas. Great song. Colgate's Candid Camera catches the story behind the story. Exclusive, New York City. Ladies and gentlemen, I received the following telegram this afternoon. It reads, Bill Stern, Radio City, New York. This is to notify you that I dare you. In fact, I double dare you to appear on my radio program the night of January the 2nd and play a saxophone solo. Signed, Kay Kaiser. Okay, Mr. Kaiser, you asked for it. I'll accept your dare. I'll play the saxophone on your program on the 2nd of January. And I'm the world's worst saxophone player. In fact, you can call it corn from a horn. And that's the 3-0 mark for tonight. Next Friday night, we'll be back same time, same stations, with another edition of the Colgate Shave Cream Sports Newsreel. We're moving the entire show to Hollywood, California, where our special guest in Hollywood next Friday evening will be the famous radio star Jack Benny. So be sure and be with us next Friday night at our usual time when we greet you from Hollywood, California, and present as our guest one of the most famous stars in Hollywood, Jack Benny. See you then. In the meantime, I'll be seeing you on the screen in the News of the Day newsreel at your favorite Lowe's or Associated Theaters. Now, until next Friday night at our usual time, when we greet you from Hollywood with our special guest, Jack Benny, this is Bill Stern wishing you all a good night.
Bill Stern, the Colgate Shave Cream Man, is on his way. Bill Stern, the Colgate Shave Cream Man, had lots to say. He told you tales of sports heroes, the inside dope he really knows. So listen in next Friday night. COLGATE.
Mrs. America, there's still a colossal shortage of industrial fats. And one result is a shortage of soap in your stores. Remember, too, fat is needed in the manufacture of nylons and other peacetime products. That's why Secretary of Agriculture Anderson asks you to keep on salvaging all the used cooking fats you can. So fill a tin and turn it in. Listen to Bill Stern next week, same time.
December 21st, 1945, Bill Stern on Christmas on the Radio. Visit our webpage, classicradio.stream, and we hope that you'll take a moment to thank this station and support their advertisers. We appreciate them so much. On many of these stations, we have another hour straight ahead. If you're with us, we look forward to the pleasure of your company. But if you leave us at this time, please accept our warmest wishes for a very, very Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous 2023.